Well, I think it's certainly important in terms of building regional unity, regional stability. As your piece said earlier, this is a meeting that hasn't taken place for many years. Pre-COVID actually was the last time. And for Japan and Korea, it's an important way to keep their ties going with China. China has a lot at stake in this meeting. So initially, they were actually they were pretty lukewarm about it. But after the U.S. Camp David Trilateral Summit with the U.S., Japan, and Korea, the Chinese have shown a lot more enthusiasm for trying to counter that diplomacy.
How does the U.S. sit on this, and how do the three leaders, what is their stance towards the U.S.?
So I think the United States is fine with it. I mean, I think the United States is fine with Korea and Japan having this dialogue with China. It's a good chance to learn more about what's going on in the Chinese economy. As you said, it's the prime minister, not the president, who goes to this meeting, and the prime minister in the Chinese system is supposed to be managing the economy, and everybody has lots of concerns about that. For the Chinese, I'm sure they're going to want to try to counter the U.S. efforts with Korea and Japan on supply chain resilience, supply chain reshuffling, and all the work on sort of these high-end technologies in semiconductors and AI and quantum. I think the Chinese are quite concerned that the U.S. is being very successful in terms of building these resilient supply chains in a way that exclude and protect technology from China.
Victor Lin here. I mean, Beijing has been pretty unhappy with its East Asian neighbours of late. As you had mentioned there, you know, Camp David. We've also had comments from President Yoon in relation to Taiwan. There's also been Fukushima and the semiconductors. So what do you think would be the main things Beijing would be hoping to get out of these trilateral summits?
So, you know, for one, you know, for the Chinese, these things are all about ceremony, right? The ceremony is very important to them. They want to be seen as a country that both Korea and Japan are trying very hard to engage. They want to be the one that's being courted rather than the courter. Although the reality is that China probably needs this meeting more than the Koreans and the Japanese do. But I think they're going to try to counter U.S. diplomacy, try to get statements from South Korea and Japan about, you know, the importance of their ties with China. China will probably try to leverage their economic, you know, market with regard to Korea and Japan. They've used economic coercion against both Korea and Japan. But even there, the Chinese don't have that much leverage because their economy is in such bad shape. They can't start threatening to impose sanctions on either of these countries, given the state of their economy. They'll also try to counter the closeness that Japan and Korea have created with the United States on the military side, as you noted, the new exercises that we're starting to do, these sorts of things.